The Fool and the Blade, Chapter 1, The Wine Incident. The great hall of Vera smelled of polished oak, beeswax, and too many alphas trying not to posturing in public. Sir Caelan stood at the base of the dais in full ceremonial armor, hands clasped behind his back, expression carved from stone. His scent cold steel and winter pine was tightly controlled, the way everything about him was tightly controlled. He had already counted the exits twice, noted which nobles were carrying concealed blades, and calculated how many seconds it would take to reach the king, if someone decided today was a good day to die. The king was announcing the final details of his upcoming marriage. The court was pretending to listen. Caelan was actually listening, because that was his job. Then the Jester arrived. Elian did not so much enter a room as happened to it. Today he wore a coat, the color of crushed pomegranates, heavy with gold embroidery that caught every torchlight and threw it back like a challenge. The sleeves were too long on purpose, the collar dramatically high, and a single sapphire earring swung from one ear whenever he tilted his head. No motley, no bells, no painted face, just vivid, expensive, deliberate excess, and a smile sharp, enough to draw blood. Caelan's jaw tightened on instinct. Elian swept past a cluster of beta ladies with a theatrical bow, then hopped up onto the low step of the dais, as though it were a stage built solely for him. A silver tray of spiced wine balanced easily on one hand.
My lords, my ladies, and everyone who wishes they were either. In honor of His Majesty's impending nuptials, I bring a toast and the humble reminder that even kings occasionally require a fool to tell them when their crown is on sideways.
A ripple of laughter. The king only smiled, long accustomed. Elian turned, tray still perfectly steady, and somehow his elbow caught the edge of a passing servant's platter. The entire contents of his own tray tipped in a perfect, glittering arc, straight onto the captain of the Kingsguard. Hot spiced wine soaked into Caelan's white ceremonial sash, ran down the polished breastplate, and dripped onto the marble floor with an indecent sound. The scent of cinnamon and cloves exploded into the air, mixing with Caelan's own steelan pine in a way that made several nearby Omegas inhale sharply. The hall went silent. Elian looked down at the mess, then up at Caelan's face. His eyes bright, unrepentant, the exact color of honey and sunlight, widened in exaggerated horror.
"Oh no,"
he said, soft enough that only Caelan and the first two rows could hear.
"The living sword appears to have gotten wet."
He tilted his head, sapphire earring swinging.
"Shall I towel you off, Captain? Or would you prefer to simply glare me into ash where I stand?"
Caelan did not move, did not speak. The only sign of life was the slow, dangerous flare of his alpha scent, winter pine turning sharp as a blade left out in the frost. Every instinct in him wanted to step forward, crowd the smaller Omega against the nearest pillar, and demand an apology that would leave Elian trembling. He did none of those things. He simply looked at Elian for 3 long heartbeats, then turned on his heel and walked out of the hall, leaving a trail of wine-dark footprints and a stunned silence behind him. 3 hours later, Caelan stood in the king's private solar, still wearing the ruined sash because changing would have felt like admitting defeat. The king pinched the bridge of his nose.
"He did it on purpose."
"Yes, Your Majesty."
"And you walked away."
"Yes, Your Majesty."
"That is either remarkable restraint or the beginning of a nervous breakdown. I am not yet certain which. I am assigning you to him."
"Yes, Your Majesty."
"Permanently, effective immediately. Elian is not to cause another international incident, set fire to another ambassador's hat, or dump wine on any more of my knights without you standing close enough to catch the tray first. You will be his shadow until the wedding is over and the foreign guests have left my kingdom in one piece."
"Your Majesty, he will make it his life's mission to drive me mad."
"Then consider it a test of character. Go, and try not to murder him before the ceremony. The court would never recover from the loss of entertainment."
Caelan found Elian in the eastern gallery, perched on the stone railing with one leg swinging, coat pooled around him like spilled wine. He was humming under his breath and polishing a silver apple with the edge of his sleeve. He looked up the moment Caelan's boots sounded on the marble. A slow, delighted smile spread across his face.
Captain, I was beginning to think you'd fled the country. Should I apologize for the wine, or would you prefer I simply do it again tomorrow so we can keep the tradition alive?
Caelan stopped, 3 paces away close, enough that his scent would reach the Omega, far enough that he could still pretend he had control. From this moment, he said, voice low and even, you do not leave my sight without permission. You do not climb furniture, insult foreign dignitaries, or spill anything on anyone without my prior approval. Is that clear? Elian hopped down from the railing in one smooth motion. The pomegranate coat flared. He stepped into Caelan's space as though the Alpha's personal bubble did not exist, tipped his head back, and grinned.
Crystal clear, Sir Broody.
He reached up and flicked an imaginary speck of dust from Caelan's still damp sash.
I do hope you realize you've just made yourself the most interesting thing in this entire castle.
Caelan's fingers twitched at his side. Elian scent sweet citrus and spiced honey, curled around him like a challenge and a promise at the same time. This, Caelan realized with cold certainty, was going to be a very long assignment.